Welcome back to the CSP Elite Baseball Development Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Cressey, and this is episode 195. I'm super excited for this episode because honestly, I think it's been a void in the content that we've offered thus far. This is going to be our first international free agent sign. This is a guy who just hit 10 years of Major League service time, was born and raised in Venezuela, signed out of an international dynamic, and really speaks a lot to learning the language and adjusting to his first trip to, first the Dominican and then the United States thereafter. He's had a long, great career. He's a wonderful mentor to some of the younger guys at our facility and just an all around great dude. Also speaks to some of the sports medicine challenges he's overcome to be a guy who's, gone out there and played well into his late 30s now. Just a really, really good dude that has an amazing perspective to share. And I'm excited that finally got someone who checked this box of being able to speak to that culture and that world and really some of the challenges that they face in our game today. So I think we're in for a really good one. This episode is brought to you by AG1, the most comprehensive NSF certified for sport daily nutritional supplement I've ever tried. With so many stressors in life, it can be difficult to maintain effective nutritional habits and give our bodies the nutrients they need to thrive. As a father of 3 young kids and a co-founder of multiple businesses in multiple states on top of still being an avid exerciser, I know that busy schedules can really take their toll on us. Whether it's poor sleep, exercise or life stressors, environmental factors, or simply not eating enough of the right foods, we can often wind up deficient nutritionally. This is where AG1 can really help. It's a game-changing nutritional insurance policy. They simplify the logistics of getting optimal nutrition on a daily basis by giving you just one thing with all the best things. That's why I use it daily, as do several of my family members, and we recommend it to a lot of our top athletes. One scoop of AG1 contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients that work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet to support energy, focus, digestion, and recovery. And this can all happen for less than $3 per day and without taking multiple products. While most nutritional supplements come to market and stay stagnant, AG1 continues to obsessively improve this one holistic formula based on the latest research, producing over 50 improvements in the last decade alone. They invest in the most absorbable and natural source of each ingredient and go above and beyond in third-party testing to ensure their customers continue to receive the highest quality and best tasting nutrition happen on the planet. Whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it'll work for you, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar per serving. They put 75 ingredients through the rigorous NSF certification test to come up with a safe formula that's trusted by some of the world's top athletes, including many of our own at Cressey Sports Performance. Right now, AG1 is giving our listeners a special offer of 10 free travel packets with their first purchase. Just head to drinkag1.com/Cressey and claim this special offer. These travel packets are perfect for supporting your immune system, energy, and gut health while you're traveling for games, training, or simply on the go. They can be great counterbalance to the less than ideal on-the-road food options that are out there for a lot of our traveling baseball players. So if you want to bridge the gap between deficient and optimal and give yourself the best chance of getting nutrient diversity, head to drinkag1.com/Cressey to get 10 free travel packets with your first purchase. Again, that's drinkag1.com/Cressey, Cressey. You won't regret it. Today's guest was born and raised in Venezuela and signed with the St. Louis Cardinals as an international free agent pitcher at age 16 in 2004. After 2 shoulder surgeries, he was released by the Cardinals in 2009. He opted to convert to an outfielder, and after 3 years of independent ball with 3 different clubs, he was signed by the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2013. Less than a year later, he made his major league debut. He tied a Diamondbacks record by recording 7 multi-hit games in his first 15 games. As a big league regular in 2015, he batted .312 with 17 home runs and a National League leading 10 triples. In 2018, he won a Silver Slugger Award after batting .293 with 30 home runs and 87 RBIs in 146 games. He also won a Gold Glove Award in 2019. In 2022, he was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays, and after that season, he signed with the Dodgers for the 2023 season. At the start of the 23 season, he also played for Team Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. After going to spring training with the Cubs in 2024, he's now playing for the San Diego Padres Major League Club. This year, he surpassed 10 years of Major League service time, and at the time of this recording, he's a career .278 hitter with a .334 on-base percentage, 119 home runs, and 551 RBIs. Please welcome to the show, David Peralta. David, this is awesome, man. I had some great conversations with you this offseason, and cool to kind of share it to a larger audience, so thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me, man. It's my pleasure.
And I know you're on a time change right now, so we appreciate you getting up on the East Coast here when you guys just came from the West Coast. But
Yeah.
maybe that's a good lesson for a lot of the guys that think playing travel ball is easy. Once you get to the big leagues, there's a lot more factors to consider.
Oh yeah, you travel all over the place, and like that's the biggest thing. Like time change. Like I'm so off right now, but and then I have to go back to San Diego
Oh
in a
man.
few days.
So let's talk about the road to getting to where you are, taking these long flights and staying in hotels all over creation. You signed as a Latin American pitcher, free agent
Hmm.
signing in 2004 at age 16. You went to the Dominican Summer League from Venezuela, right? And then you went to the Appalachian League. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like a lot of our listeners really appreciate just, how big of a culture shock it is. There's a language change. There's, different levels of play. You're getting coached by people who don't know you necessarily nearly as well when you jump into that deep end of professional baseball. Can you maybe speak to some of those early years in pro balls and like what the adjustment was for you as a young guy coming from Venezuela?
I think it's tough for all Latin players when first you have to get out of your country and travel to a different country, a different culture, a different language, which is like the hard part for us. And it's a lot of fact like different food. And for me, when I leave my country, like I was just turning 17 years old,
Yeah.
and I had to go explore a new world, which is I went first to the United States, and then they sent me back to Dominican. But everything was different for me
Yeah.
when I came to United States. I didn't know the language. Food was different. I'm used to I used to my mom's cook.
Yeah.
My mom's cooking for me instead. I was living with my parents, so that was the first hard step that you have to an adjustment that you have to make. But but then that's how the grinding started. Like get to know people, trying to like understand coaches when they're trying to teach you something and you have no idea what they're talking about. And that was a hard part, but there's something that gets you like motivated and going because as a kid, like I always want to be a professional player. I always want to be a ball player because that's in Venezuela, that's our number one sport. So that's all I know. I'm like, hey, I want to play baseball, baseball, baseball. So that was my motivation. Okay, I decided to become a professional player. I have to commit it
Mhm.
and I have to do it. I have to be very disciplined. But all this stuff is you know, it sounds easy, but it's not easy because you have to go a long way to get to where you want to
Yeah. And your
be.
your initial years, there were some hiccups. Like we mentioned, you were signed as a pitcher, two shoulder surgeries and 5 years into your pro experience, you were released. So I'm curious, like what obviously there was a big change, right? You pivoted, you became
Yeah.
a position player. What was the mindset of going that route? Was it because of the injuries, or did you feel like you always had like the ability to do it?
Well, I always have the ability to do both, like hitting and pitching. But in Venezuela, I was assigned as a free agent, so I was doing a bunch of tryouts, I have teams and everything, and I had a good arm. So as a lefty, they were telling me like, "Hey, you know what? Lefty, pitcher, good arm." I was throwing like 92, or like just out the mouth, like, "Hey, 92." So it's good. So it's going to be more chance for you to make it to the big league as an outfielder, you can find a lot of outfielder that can hit and everything. And I was like, okay, if you tell me you're the scout, you know better than me. If you tell me that's going to be more chance for me to make it to a big league, I'm going to be pitching. I'm going to become a pitcher. So that's what it did. So I don't know. That's the reason that my shoulder couldn't take it.
Mhm.
So that's why I had a shoulder surgery. But the worst news that any player can get is when you get released. There's no doubt about it. And when that happens to me after my two shoulder surgery, I kind of was you expecting because the Cardinals they were waiting for me a lot, and like shoulder wasn't responding well and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's tough because it's tough. So when I got the news, the first thing that I did was call my parents, and they were very supportive with me, and it was like, and they were like, hey, Sam, come back to Venezuela, and we're gonna figure it out here. And I think that was the biggest help and mindset for me. My parents helped me a lot to go through the situation because I was just 20 years old when I got released, 21 years old. So still super young. So I went back to Venezuela and I'm still trying to become like, keep pitching, but my shoulder was like bothering me a lot. And then my dad told me like, hey, you know what? You know how to hit. How, why wouldn't you try? Like, let's try to hit again. And I was thinking, I was like, well, it's going to be tough, but like, I had the support that I wanted, that I needed from my family, my dad, my mom told me like, we're going to support you. So let's work on that. Let's do whatever it takes or whatever we need to do, and we're going to do that. So I think that helped me the most, my family, to do that transition to become a position player and how to change my whole body.
Yeah.
Because how like as a pitcher, you get strong, like, but I need to change, get strong, like upper body and be more athletic and be more. I'm not saying the pitchers they're not athletic, but you know how it is. You know how it is. I don't want to say that out loud because I don't know if I'm gonna if I pinch hit today or play today and they hear this interview and they're gonna pitchers they're not athletic, boom, they're gonna drill me.
Do
But
you look back and talk to your parents about that? Did your dad in hindsight say like, hey, I believed you could do this all the time? Or was it more like, hey, we got a 20, 21-year-old, like we got to support his dreams no matter what and let him kind of fail and chart his own
I,
path if needed.
I think my dad he always believed in me.
Mhm.
That's what he always showed me. I
Yeah.
don't know if I don't know if he meant it or not, but that's what I always felt from my dad and my mom. They always believed in me.
Yeah.
So that will make my comfort all the way up. Like, okay, that's all I need because,
Yeah.
my family. And
Mhm.
then I met my wife and she was the same way. So
Yeah.
that helped a lot. A lot of people like whoever tells you like, hey, that's the way of thing. Like, because I went through a lot. Hey, I made it to the big league or the good by myself. It's lying because it's hard to be in the big league to make it to the big league by yourself. I always needed the support from my family because baseball, you have a lot of up and down.
Yeah.
And when you go down, it's really hard. If you're around good people, family, those people, they're the one who's gonna help you to get up and keep forward for where you want to be. So that's what helped me the most, my family, my wife, to be where I am right now. Because it's hard to do by yourself, man.
Yeah.
It's hard when you get in this back like huge lump and everything in baseball and everything's not going the way you want it. It's hard to get up by yourself. And that's when you need the help of your family.
I've heard that from so many guys that, guys who feel like their careers actually took off when they had kids because it didn't matter, how badly they played or how poorly the game went. Like the kid's always smiling and waiting at the door and you come home. Like, you might have just answered my next question, but you went to independent ball, you played for three separate teams and they were signed by the Diamondbacks in
Mm-hmm.
2013. But what's interesting is you went to the big leagues in 11 months. Like you don't see that very often, certainly in conversions, but then
Yeah.
also in guys that, have only been there a short amount of time. Like, what do you feel like it was that allowed it to click for you? Obviously, there's some family support. Like, do you feel like the background as a pitcher allowed you to maybe have a little bit more insights into what it took to get hitters out? Like, you went there right away and you thrived as a rookie.
Mhm. I think it was, it's funny. I'm going to tell you this little story about my wife. Like when I was independent was hard.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, whoever played independent ball, that's not easy. The travel's hard and everything. And independent ball, you have to do well or you get released. That is not like, in minor league, like affiliated team, then they take you nice and easy, so make you no. Independent ball, either you do good or you're out. So I was having a first time in my life having a slump, like I was 0 for 20. And my fear was I'm gonna get released again. I'm gonna get released. And you get in the fear. I called my wife after the game and I was like, I'm scared. Like I think I can do it anymore. And she just tied to me. I don't know if I can say all the words that she said to me.
She
Like
targeted.
you better get together and this, you're not gonna call me and tell me this stuff. Well, all we went through, blah blah blah. Oh, she went over me. Believe it or not, next day I start hitting boom, 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 boom. Figured it out. I just sometimes you just need a slap in your face to wake up. I'm like, come on, man, you went through a lot of hard stuff even worse than and you're gonna complain about, oh, I'm all for 10, all for 10. No, figure it out. I mean, this game's hard.
Yeah.
And don't try to make it harder. But the question you say about the kids and everything, like when I have my kids, like that's the best feeling ever because I don't care if I go 0 for 4.
Mhm.
If I go when I go back home, I got my kids. They're happy. They're waiting for me, and they just make my night and stuff like
That's where
that.
it's at.
So it's just that's what I'm saying. Like family is really important in your career.
Yeah, I think so much of like today's mental skills world is like you don't have to be unconditionally positive and bubbly all the time, but you just can't be negative. Like just don't let it shift too far in the other direction. And I love that she called you on it when you started to drift that way.
Exactly, and that's how it is, man. And you know, maybe I'm wrong or no, but I believe baseball is more than 90. Well, if I say 99%, it's crazy, but mental. Baseball, the sport is so hard that you have to be strong mental because when you sign as a professional, you got the skill, you got the talent, you got everything. But if you're not ready mental for
Mhm.
everything that you have to go through baseball, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how whatever. Like you're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Baseball's gonna eat you. It's crazy, man.
I think, it's interesting. I don't know how much of that is like people actually devoting themselves to learn that side of the game, but like watching you this offseason, right? You had your flexor repair surgery, and there was a time when you were standing in just tracking ABs, for a lot of veteran big leaguer guys that got Cy Youngs and things like that. And you weren't even swinging, and you were giving them feedback on here's what your slider's doing, here's this. I saw this out of your hand. Like you never see that in a kid from low A who walks into the cages. Like they think it's all about exit velocity or anything like that. It's amazing how even maybe as physically, like, at age 37, you're not doing what you're doing at 27, but the
Yeah.
awareness of like how to approach an at bat, how to prepare yourself pregame is so much different. So I thought that was really cool to see. And maybe it's, perfect proof in the point you just tried to make.
I think it's always part like I always want to learn
Mhm.
and I'm always want to get better. And in baseball, you're never gonna stop learning. And when you get to the point of your career, like you just wanna like it's how crazy it is. Like when you think you know something, you don't know anything
Yeah.
anymore. It is funny, you know.
And the game
You think,
adjusts.
oh,
Yeah.
exactly. So you think like, oh, I know I can heal, I know how to do, and then you start learning every day. I'm like, hey, I don't know anything. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. And that's the way that when I was a rookie, I was just watching all. I was around veteran guys, and I was watching the way they prepared, and I was listening a lot
Yeah.
because you got to be a good listener, and you have to learn like, okay, what they do, and to be successful. And that's what I'm doing. So that's where right now, when I was working in the facility, like, okay, I'll learn them. Just keep doing that and let them know to this young generation, this is what you have to do to be successful, be consistent in the big league. It's
Yeah.
just like that. You have to work hard. You have to be consistent and you have to be disciplined and committed of what you want to do. That's the thing that helped me the most. Every single day. That's what I put every single day. Every single day when I step to the field or the ballpark, I say, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna do everything I can to get better today. And by the time that I go back to my room, put my head on the pillow, I'm gonna say I did everything today to get better. And I'm gonna do the same thing tomorrow. And that's what it
I
keeps
love
me
that.
disciplined.
What I think is also cool. Like you just layered two important points. Obviously, there's like, what is it? You can control your effort, your attitude. Like you just talked about those two things, but you also spoke to the importance of growth mindset and like always being
Mhm.
open to learning and knowing how hard this
Yeah.
game is. I think we see a lot of, younger players in this game where it's like, oh my gosh, like, hey, you've missed 4 years in a row due to surgeries, like make an adjustment, like have a little awareness on how to pivot. Do you find yourself having those conversations with young players more and more now that you're kind of the veteran in the clubhouse or, obviously in a private facility like ours, like being around those guys? Do you think kids are a little bit more stubborn on the ability to actually like make adjustments along the way?
Yeah. I always talk to those kids because I've been I don't know for some reason I'm like, well, a lot of people want me to retire or something. Like they keep asking me like, hey, when you going to be a coach when you retire? I'm like, to be honest, coach is. I don't think I don't. I'm not gonna say I don't want it because you never know, but I really want to do a mentor. I want to really teach this kid,
Mhm.
especially minor league, prepare them mentally
Yeah.
to be ready for the big league. Because I always tell the kids like, hey, I just 10 years in the big league like a month ago. And you have no idea how many years I have to start from this way. I'm like, what do you mean? I have 6 surgeries on my body. So every time that you have a surgery, you have to start from zero. You have to rehab, you have to do everything. And I did it. And not even any surgery, I started thinking, okay, I'm done. No, I'm saying, you know what? It's going to get me better. And you saw me work and you saw me when I had the flexor, like, "Man, David, the flexor is going to take you a lot of time to get." And I was telling you, you know what? I'm going to start playing in this day. And I remember I said, April 15th, that's my goal. It's too early. I'm going, this is my goal. And I did it because I put a lot of hard work and everything,
Yeah.
but it's mental. It's a lot of stuff because
Yeah.
you're going to go down a lot. And I was told the kid, like, 6 surgery, and I'm still made it to 10 years to the big league.
Yeah.
So you have to be strong and positive and just willing to work and get better every day. And that's what I want to teach to this young guy. Because you said it, sometimes they concentrate to, "Oh, I want to get strong." It's well, I said, no, you got to learn how to play the game, how to do the right thing, how to be disciplined. That's going to keep you in the game. So that I would love to do that. That's my thing. Like if you asking me, what do you want to do? I'll be a mentor because everything that I know is not because I wrote a book. I read a book or stuff. No, I went through everything.
Yeah.
So I can speak for my experience. Like, hey, this is what I did. This is what I went through. It's not because I said when I was reading a book there's somebody. No. I went through that.
Yeah.
So my experience, like I can tell the stuff.
You know what I think about too with you is you talked about the grind, you talk about hard work. Like I think guys assume that's hit till your hands bleed, squat 500, like do all this crazy stuff. And don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of hard work in those initiatives. What
Yeah.
what I think
Yeah.
impressed me the most is like, and this is not just true of you, like this is true of most of the very
Yeah.
successful long-term big leaguers I know. Like you are perfectly willing to do the really boring, mundane stuff. Like it stinks, right? Like, hey, you had your
It
flex
is.
this off season. Like, yeah, you got to sit around and do BFR for recovery. Hey, you're gonna take the Mark Pro home with you, and you're gonna
Mhm.
run it at a low frequency. So and those are the things like let's joke like small hinges swing big doors. Like doing that stuff consistently might buy you that extra day of expedited rehab on the tail end where you are able to maybe beat a rehab timeline and still have success.
Exactly.
We interrupt this podcast with a quick reminder that this episode is brought to you by AG1. It's an NSF certified all-in-one superfood supplement that features 75 whole food sourced ingredients designed to support your body's nutritional needs. I use this product daily myself, and a ton of our athletes do as well. Head to drinkag1.com/Cressey and claim my special offer of 10 free travel packets with your first purchase. AG1 gives you peace of mind that you're covering all your nutritional bases. Again, that's drinkag1.com/Cressey, Cressey, and you'll get that special offer.
And you mentioned like that was your sixth career surgery, and I remember reading a long time ago that having one surgery in the minor leagues actually cuts your chance to making it to the big leagues in half. I don't know if that's accurate, but it was something I heard over a decade ago. And congratulations, you just hit 10 years of MLB service
Thank you.
time in spite of all those
Thank you.
challenges. That's a really big deal. I'm curious, what are the lessons like? You spoke maybe in like very like broad terms about like working hard and stuff like that. What are the things that have you learned about your body? Like, is it nutritionally? Is it sleep? What are the strategies that you think have made the biggest difference for you to be as as you stuck around for a long time?
Yeah. That's 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 a good question because when I was young, all the young kids, all you think is I want to lift heavy
Mhm.
because I want to be strong and everything. And then years by passing, I started learning about myself, I learning about my body. I started listening to my body like, hey, I want to be more athletic. I need to eat better. I need to take care. I need to sleep right. I need to sleep at least 7 hours, 8 hours, so I can recover. And nutrition was really important for me. So as you get older, you have to listen to your body. And then I ended up like I'm not lifting heavy like the way I used to be, but I'm getting the same result, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like but I'm more flexible because that's what I want to be. So all those kind of stuff, and I don't know, like this off season, I was talking with one kid, and I don't know if it was mentioned to you. I don't know, like I don't know. So I saw him. He was like, I think he had the same surgery, flexor or something like that, and he was a hard worker.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like to see those kids hard working. But I always Eric. Eric was the PT guy.
Yeah.
He's a PT guy there. So
Sure. Yep.
Champ. So he was coming to him, and every time, like, oh, okay, I think I feel this tired. I feel this. So I called him to the side, to the kid, and I said, like, hey, man, what do you got? No, he's trying to find the perfect day. They feel perfect all the time. And I'm like, bro, you work hard every day. I think your body's telling you something that you need a little break. And a break won't hurt you. Nothing's going to happen. It's just probably your body needs a few days to recover it because you keep working hard, like too much. And sometimes you have to listen to your body and give you a little break because you're not a machine. He did that. A few days later, he came and he was feeling great, and he got signed by the Mets or something like that. He was playing guys. I'm like, and he thanked me for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how it is. Sometimes you gotta listen to your body. I'm saying you gotta work hard, but you gotta be smart too.
Yeah.
That's like a person, like, and the way you guys put it all together, like the workout is really great because it's like do this, but not to go to crazy. And you got different days. You change the workout to not kill your body.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I learn every day.
Yeah.
Eating is really important. And I started like, for as much as a Latin guy, I like to eat a lot. But I have to be careful. Yeah, I have to be careful. I have to do my diet. I have to be in shape. I have to be athletic and all this kind of stuff. It really matters. So, and that's really important, this kind of stuff.
Let's talk about how your maybe routines change over the years. Like if we're talking about in-season training, what's a day at the ballpark look for you right now? Like we're talking at noon. I know you're heading, you guys are playing the Nats tonight. What's it gonna look like when the dime you roll in?
I'm a old school guy. I like to be early at the stadium because I like to take my time. I don't like to be rushed. I take my time stretching a lot.
Mhm.
Soft tissue, get warm in the weight room, not a workout, but activate my whole body
Yeah.
to get it going.
What I always
And then
notice about you is you don't do anything with a bat or a ball until you're sweating. Like it's
yeah,
like something you always see. Like there's
yeah,
pit stains and there's sweat on the brow before you even go outside to do your thing, which I think
it's
is
a
really overlooked. Like it's not just a little foo-foo warm up where you rush through it. It's intended to
yeah,
get your body temperature up.
it's exactly. So I learned that through the year that I have to do it. So I'm like, yeah, I need to take my time to do that because if you rush everything or you don't stretch well, if you do is take a swing, you're not losing up, and then you can pull something. So, and then I do that, and then go to the cage, do my routine, hitting, whatever I need to do. I try and if I'm playing consistently every day, I try to not do too much. And even if I'm not playing too much, I do. If I'm feeling good, I'm just trying to like be consistent with the same
Yeah.
amount of swing or trying to do too much because this is a long season. So you have to, you want to be ready for October. October is
Yeah.
the playoff. That's what we're working for hard the whole off season to be ready for the playoff. So you got to find a way how to stay fresh. And in a big league, we have all the benefits. That we have good food,
Yeah.
good nutrition, protein, all this great stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to take advantage of that. But I always take my time to do my stuff to get ready for the game, so I can stay healthy as long as you.
Yeah. How much have you changed? I know one of the things I've heard from a ton of veteran players is like guys don't hit on field nearly as much. Like, are you a guy that hits out there? Will you get on there like first day of a series? How do you approach on field work? Outfield
Well,
defense too.
it depends. Like, defense, I trying to do like almost every day,
Mhm.
not getting too crazy.
Yeah.
It depends where you go. There's some cities that are really hot. Sometimes you have
Yeah,
to
you got
like
to go to Fenway and get
take it easy,
adjusted. True.
and yeah, you got to work on your hydration because it's
Yeah.
really important. You don't want to pull something, I love hitting outside. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm an old school guy. I love hitting outside. And if it's there's times that it's like, hey, depends the weather's still hot, like, okay, you're taking it easy.
Mhm.
And sometimes, especially in the middle of the season, late in the season, you have to take it easy, save your swing because that's
Mhm.
when your body starts, like, getting a little tired.
Yeah.
You have like 100 plus games on you, so it's not easy. But it's the pain. Like I said, you gotta be aware and listen to your body what's telling you. If you feel good, okay, you can go do stuff. But if you feel tired, your body's telling you something. So just there's nothing wrong to take it easy or just I just want to hit the cage and just do recovery stuff so to be ready for the game.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Speaking of hitting, it's changed a lot since, you first came up in 2014. I was kind of cracking up on the inside when you're like, yeah, I was a hard throwing lefty. I was throwing 92. It feels like that's like, 95 is the new 92, I think. But so
yeah,
hitting
yeah.
has evolved dramatically since you debuted. The velocity, obviously, and the stuff, all-time elite levels. You got guys that are, learning new pitches, and throwing it in big league games, it seems like the next day. What are the things that have helped you adapt? And then also what's stayed the same? What doesn't change across, multiple eras?
Man, I don't know. I mean, the games, all the pictures change a lot. Like now everyone's 100.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Everyone's 100, and I'm like, what do they eat or how to prepare it? Because unbelievable. So, baseball is a game to adjust. So you have to adjust now. You have to adjust to velocity.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you see the starter when we get to the hidden meeting. Okay, we don't think about the starter. Like, yeah, this guy trade. Now, yeah, if you got like sliding really Carter, like just simple stuff. Like everyone does that. And now you have to, I like to watch the video. I like to try to keep it simple and everything, especially with the mechanic. Because I've always been the guy that I don't take too much like a big mechanic and stuff like that, like doing little stuff. So big movement. So I was trying to keep everything short and quick.
Yeah.
And that's what we helping us to be consistent. But like I said, right now, like wow, you just have to adjust and be adjusted again. Or if you even do that, again, it's gonna do that. So
Yeah.
it's being a lot of change, especially with all this like they're trying to get it by all of change elevate the ball. Like I'm not a big fan of that, but that's what's going on right now. I'm more a line drive guy.
Yeah.
I think and I believe the line drive they're gonna be base here. They're gonna become doubles, triples. And if you hit it well, they're gonna become homers too. So
Yeah.
fly balls, for me, fly balls just have to be either homer or they're gonna be out.
Yeah. I was going to say, and
So
not that
that's what I think. But
it's another layer of
and not
complexity too,
everyone,
right? When you're trying
yeah,
to simplify,
and
that's one more thing to think about when you're just trying to compete.
yeah, because not everyone is going to be. I don't judge that everyone people born parents' house is huge. I can't do that. These kids will have to find a way how to how to begin. First, you have to know like who you are, what type of player you are,
Yeah.
and just get better.
I love that. What about like coaches? Obviously, you talked about enjoying being a mentor and wanting to continue that. Like, what about the ones that have impacted you the most? I mean, obviously, a couple decades in pro ball from your first minor league experience all the way up to 10 years in the big leagues. When you look back on the coaches that helped you the most, what do you think were the things that what were some of the qualities that characterize them?
Well, as a hitting coach at hitting, I have my good friend, and he was my hitting coach at independent ball, and then Um, he worked for the D-backs for a little bit for 5 years. His name is Jose Amado. He didn't play in the big league, but he played pro baseball. He get into AAA. But when I met him in independent ball in Wichita, he was the hitting coach. He's from Venezuela, but he was the hitting coach in Wichita. He teach me a lot. He helped me a lot to get better as a hitter, to teach me how to use the whole field. It's, as a new hitter, I was trying to pull everything. And he helped me and teach me. And he's the one in all my steps as a hitting. He was always watching my video. And when I was going through tough situation, call him and he helped me a lot by that. And and I was thinking about how he was willing to help me all the time. During the off season, I was, you know, I was working with him in the off season about hitting, and we talked, and just like you, like we just talking, like you got to adjust every year because every year is something different that's gonna come, and you have to adjust to all that. and and then I went through a lot of managers and coach, but one of the best coaches that I have ever had in my career too is David McKay.
Mhm.
David McKay right now he's the first base coach for the Diamondbacks, but he made me be the player that I am right now. The way I play hard, the way I play defense, he made me be a Gold Glover, and I always have to thank him for everything he did for me. So he's
Was
the
it just
best.
that he set a
So
standard for you, or was it that, there were specific things that he taught you that made a big difference?
he was pushing me every day to get
Yeah,
better.
I love that.
Every single day. You gotta run hard, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and be disciplined and this. And defense, I remember when I won my gold glove in 2019, I was doing well. But he called me to his office and I was like, hey, he threw out a number. I got this number in defense. It's good. I think, I mean, they're not bad, but you're better than that.
Mhm.
I don't think that's you. And I was inside, I was like, I thought I was doing well, I was pissed. And I was like, okay, but there's sometimes it's different about coaches because he told me that, but he told me how to get better. And
Yeah,
he teach me how to get better.
yeah,
Some coach, they're gonna tell you, oh, you need to fix this. Okay, how? Teach me how.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm a baby, but you still can teach me like I want to learn. He told me this is what we're gonna do,
Mhm.
and you're gonna do this. It's gonna get you better.
I
I
love
won
that.
gold gloves again,
I
doing what
love,
he told me.
I love that.
Simple as that. And I was
Don't
like,
criticize unless you have a solution.
exactly,
Yeah,
because sometimes like hitting coach, oh, stay back and okay, teach me how to stay back.
yeah,
It's easy to talk, and that's sometimes like be a coach is not easy. It's not easy. So you tell someone to fix something, well, you got to teach it and show him how to do it.
I like
So
that.
that's when you became a great coach. So he did it, and it was the same thing with the hitting coach. He did it, so that's why I got the silver plug and the gold glove, and those he did not have to get thanks for those coach. They always been pushing me to get better.
I love those answers. That's, I mean, and it gets overlooked too. It's one thing to have like the greatest coaching cues or forward thinking ideas and all that stuff, but just someone that is like consistently working as hard at getting you better as you are, someone that is in the ring with you, so to speak. I think that's a really important message. We always do a little lightning round at the end of each podcast. Easy
Oh boy,
question. Which hitters do you like to watch in today's game, and why is it that you like to watch them?
what?
Which hitters do you like to watch in today's game?
And today's game, oh, there's so many good ones, man. Wow, let me trying to think. Well, I'm lefty right now. I like to, I played with him last year, and I was Freddie Freeman. Like it's unbelievable the way he can do stuff, and I was really lucky to play to be his teammate last year, and wow, the way he does stuff is impressive. Like Johan Alvarez,
Yeah,
the DH and from Houston. So that guy can hit too. And what I like the most is they can hit lefty and right, and
yeah.
nothing hit bombs. I like this. I like this guy. And I don't know, you didn't ask me this, but old times when I was young, like one of my favorite players, like Big Papi,
Yeah,
David Ortiz, and my favorite was Carlos Gonzalez, Carlos from the Rockies.
I was gonna
So
say,
those two guys, sweet swing,
yeah,
nice.
very, very different
Like
swings, but both very effective for sure.
exactly. So love it.
That was great.
I tried to do like both the guy, but it didn't work for me. So I have to be David. Just be you. You can hear like that.
I like it. Well, maybe that's a good segue into the next question. What if you could go back and talk to teenage David Peralta and give him some advice? What would that advice be?
You know, how to like. Well, as a kid, you need advice, but man, I was enjoying the game every time that I was playing.
Yeah,
So I think like just I would say you did it right. If I go back and say,
I love
David,
that.
you did it right. Because every time like baseball is a kid's game, and you're supposed to have fun, and that's what I did every time. And baseball is my life, and every time when I was playing, and I was like, everything was for me. Baseball was everything. So every time when I was playing as a kid, I was having fun.
Yeah.
I was enjoying every single moment, and that's what it is. So I would say, like David, little David, you did it right.
I love that. Maybe that's the lesson to the parents and kids listen to this, is that they need to follow that. And if it's not fun, then you got to recalibrate on what you're doing.
I always get the question, like from fans or stuff like that, like, hey, what's the advice of that you can give it to the kids to be a big leaguer? And I'm like, my advice, it's not for the kid, it's for the parents. Because when I was little, my parents, they were taking me to every single game, every practice. My dad was getting out of work, play catch with me, and he's the one who motivated me to my family, my parents, to be a ball player. If I'm little, I can drive myself. I can drive myself to the game. I can drive to the practice. So my advice is for the parents, like, support your kid no matter what. Give it 100%. I know, everyone have that the money to buy all the equipment and everything, but you always gonna have time to do something special to your kid if you want him to become a well player. That's the key.
I love that. And sometimes it's just about setting the stage for kids to carve their own path, right? It's like your parents
Yeah.
supported you, but they didn't tell you have to do this, you have to do this. They supported you
No,
when you had the roadmap that you felt like you wanted.
exactly. So that's the best way.
That's good stuff, man. Hey, you have an awesome social media presence. Instagram, it's davidperalta.6. Always do a good job of putting good content out there. I know you're out on Twitter or X or whatever it is now, and then TikTok. So
Yeah.
hey man, this was awesome. I got a lot of time with you this offseason, and I benefited a ton. I enjoyed it. And I'm sure that there's some pearls of wisdom that are really going to help some kids and some coaches and some parents out there. So appreciate you carving the time while you're on the road here.
Thank you, man. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. That was fun.